here to bring you guys a pitching tutorial, and today we're going to be talking about the different pitching interfaces and pros and cons of each of them. So like I showed you guys in my batting tutorial, I highly recommend you guys use practice. It may not be as essential for pitching, but it can still definitely be useful. We're just going to pick Adam Wainwright here. Go Cardinals. We're just going to face the Tigers lineup, and we'll go right into it. So just kind of give you guys a overlay of what this video will take place. We'll talk about the 4 different interfaces. We have classic pitching, pulse pitching, meter pitching, and analog pitching. To me, they all have advantages and disadvantages. So hopefully I can show you guys in this practice session the pros and cons of each of them and talk a little bit about them as well. Again, guys, remember the most important thing for offline pitching is it's going to be dependent on what difficulty you're on. And so I mean, when you go from offline to online, it's going to be a big difference. So you might want to use different pitching interfaces for offline compared to online, and I'll talk about that as we go on. Alright, so here we go, using Adam Wainwright. We're going to start with classic pitching, so let's go to gameplay. And we're going to put it to All-Star as well, so we'll start in classic. Alright, so classic's pretty simple. I consider this, low risk, low reward, but I also consider this one to be the most sim. Pretty much just place your ball marker, you select your pitch, then you place your ball marker and hit X. You can also hold the X button, or you can tap it. So right there I tapped it, and this one I'll hold it down. If you hold it down for so long, you'll feel your controller vibrate just a little bit. That means you're going to try to put a little more brake, a little more velocity on it. So we'll try to show you a curveball here. I'm going to hold it down, see if we can get more. Alright. The thing is, when you hold it down, you're going to have less accuracy on the pitch. Again, the classic one, a lot of people like this for offline. It can be used for online as well. But the thing with this is there's little to no user input. It's pretty much reliant on the pitcher's attributes. So like walks per 9 and the individual pitch control. So just keep that in mind. If you do want to use it online, I wouldn't recommend it unless you just absolutely cannot use the other interfaces. This interface is pretty similar to the one I'll be talking about next, which is Pulse. And if you're gonna use Pulse, you might want to consider using this online. So it's really up to you guys. You got to get a feel for each of them. But hey, this is a good interface as well. But I would definitely recommend this, at least trying it for offline, like franchise mode. So I'll show you guys again. We're gonna go high inside fastball and hold it down. Okay. So we got the 93 there. Wayno usually only throws like 89, 90. So we're gonna go to the next interface. This one is going to be, we're gonna go into Pulse. And notice down here you get a pulse meter display. You can go to default or classic. I prefer classic because it reminds me of the year they brought pulse pitching to MLB The Show, and that was 2012. So it's getting pretty simple. You see the pulsating circle. You want to try to minimize it as much as possible, and then you hit X. Pretty simple. To me, this one's really similar to classic. And some pros and cons for each of these interfaces. Well, first things first. A big advantage of using these interfaces will be your ability to hold runners. This might not be as big of a deal offline as it is online, because offline it can be a little more difficult to hold runners, and you can sit there and you can hold the ball, mess up your or change up your delivery to the plate. And another key thing here that you might want to take into consideration is you'll play people online and they'll be dancing in the box, showing bunt over and over and over, trying to lag you. If you use classic or pulse, this will not affect it at all. And as I mentioned with classic, a big disadvantage of this one is going to be your user input. You do have a little bit of user input, but once again, you're not going to have nearly as much input as this one. This one as compared to meter or analog, and you also really can't control the velocity on this one. The velocity or brake, you can just place it high or low, and then try to minimize the pulsating circle. And keep in mind, the ball is going to go anywhere in that pulsating circle, so you want to make sure you minimize it as much as you can. I'll show you guys what happens if you just leave it in the middle and you maximize the pulsating circle. So like right here, maximize it, boom, go anywhere. See? So you don't want to pitch like that. But anyways, that's pretty much Pulse in a nutshell. Again, it's pretty heavily reliant on the pitcher's attributes. One other key thing before I move on here is, regardless of your pitcher's attributes, the individual attributes, the fastball is always going to be the easiest pitch to throw. As you see right here, it's always going to be the easiest pitch to throw. You see when I throw a curveball, look how big it is. See, I can't minimize it very well, and it's going a lot faster, even though Wainwright has very good control on his curveball, so that's just something to keep in mind. Alright, so moving on here. Go to the next one. Meter. Alright. If you guys are new to MLB The Show, even fairly new, and you guys want to try online, I would recommend starting out with Meter. To me, Meter it's not that difficult to use, but it takes a little bit more, it takes a little bit more skill to use than Pulse or Classic, and I believe you can control your pitches accuracy as well as the break and velocity a little bit better on there. So it's pretty simple. If you want to minimize your velocity and you want to maximize your control, you just tap it right away. See, it's underneath that yellow bar there, but I won't be throwing as hard. And if you want to maximize your velo, I'll throw up and in here, and then you just want to boom, time it right there, go up, and you get the ball. So you get that pitch up to 93 miles an hour. Same for breaking balls. If you want to put as much effort into them as possible, you can hold it down, press it in the red, press X in the red, and then press it back again on the yellow bar to time it. So again, it's pretty straightforward. The big advantage of this one is you're going to be able to control your velocity as well as your break and accuracy. You can maximize effort in each pitch, or you can minimize effort. So this could be another good way to maybe let your pitcher go a little deeper into games. If you're facing number 8 or 9 hitter, there's no reason to be throwing max effort on every pitch. Something to keep in mind when using this is input lag can affect the meter. So you want to make sure you have a pretty good TV. When I say that, I mean like usually smaller TVs have better lag input. Personally, I use a 24-inch BenQ. So if you're pitching on like a 60-inch, 55-inch Samsung LED or whatever, it's going to be a little more difficult to time. But I'm playing on a BenQ. There's little to no input lag. So, anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for Meter. Again, I would definitely recommend this one for online. I think this is probably the most used pitching interface for online as well. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're hitting for sure, because a lot of people will be using Meter. We're going to Pure Analog. Pure Analog is my favorite. I started using it this year, and pretty much you place your ball marker where you want to pitch it, and then you'll see up top there, that's the pitching interface. That's what we're going to be using. So I press it down, and then I press it back up when it gets to that yellow spot. So if I press it, so where that yellow bar is, that determines the vertical axis where the ball is going to go. If I do it too late or too early, it's going to affect the vertical disposition of the pitch. So if I do too early, it's going to go higher. If I do too late, it's going to go later. Pretty common sense stuff, right? But one of the reasons I like this one the most is I feel this one can offer you the best accuracy if you're good with it. To me, it takes the most skill to use, but some people jump on this and they can pick it up pretty well. If you're used to analog. For me, I was never a big analog guy. I've used zone hitting for the most part, so I never really used the analog until this year. So it's pretty simple, straightforward. You just press it down to the yellow bar, and then you want to press it up. And see, I got it marked to the outside, so I'm going to press it up and to the left a little bit. And you get the feel for it, guys. It's going to be a little different for each pitcher. Again, it's going to be based on the difficulty, and it's going to be based on the pitcher's attributes. The advantage to this one is, if you're good with it, you can pretty much pinpoint. You can also control velo, the velocity I should say, by how hard you press up on it. So like this, when I press up quick, that controls the velocity on it. So you can't control the velocity and break as well. Again, similar to Meter, some disadvantages will be people will be dancing in the box, like I call it, at least showing bunt over and over. Lag can affect it a little bit as well, and it can be a little more difficult to hold runners. So, but to me, this one's the highest risk and highest reward interface. So, if you guys are trying to get better at pitching, I highly recommend you guys trying out Pure Analog. And guys, that's going to be it for the pitching interface tutorial. I hope you guys Hope you guys learned something. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment. If you like the video, please like it. This is Cardinal Bird 5 signing off. Good luck out there, guys. Hopefully this will make you guys some better pitchers.